and welcome back to another video. I am so glad you're here. On this channel, I talk about news, controversies, and drama on the bookish side of the internet, and I certainly hope you'll stick around. So first off, elephant in the room, she has rebranded. Actually, though, it's just a name change. Every now and then I kind of update like my theming and colors and all that, but I'm happy where I am with that stuff. And I definitely, don't want anyone to lose me in the name change. I did make a community post about this, but if you didn't see it, nothing about my content is changing. I simply just wanted a name that was like a little more broad. I also had like different variations of Book Lover Laura, like I had dots in between the words on Instagram, but not on TikTok or YouTube. My email address, as we know, was bookloverlaurablog@gmail.com, that kind of thing. Although, I'm sorry to say, my #1 fan might have a harder time finding me now. Anyways, there's nothing more to it than that, but a moment of silence for BLL, forever in our hearts. Moving on, today we've got another author being super shady, and sadly this one seems to be super well loved, making this behavior a huge disappointment for her fans. And now that I think about it, I feel like most of these authors are really well loved by their fans. So anyways, we're discussing Sam Sketcher, author of the Sinners Anonymous series, which is a dark mafia romance. She currently has 4 books out, but there actually was a little bit of drama with the last book's release. Nothing big, but figured I'd mention it. So the first 3 books in the series were released between December 2021 and September 2022. So what about that 4th book? It was just published at the end of October 2025, after being pushed back multiple times over 3 years since book 3 was released. And despite all the hype around it, it really wasn't what a lot of fans were hoping for. So here is a subreddit post from the romance books subreddit. Sinners Atone by Sam Sketcher is awful. My roommate read this book a week ago, so I thought I'd read it too. LOL, here's my opinion. I'm shocked that this is the result. The author said it was ready to be released, but she had to do an entire rewrite and then pushed it back multiple times. And this is what she came up with? We waited over 3 years for a filler-filled, super short and completely boring book with no plot whatsoever. The book is 100 pages shorter than the others. The main characters felt like side characters. They barely interacted with each other until the last 30% of the book. It wasn't even a slow burn. There is actually, a lot more to that post, but it gets into like the details of the book, which aren't really important for this purpose. So this is the end of the post. I understand that the author had things going on, but the release date was pushed like 3 times. This book felt disconnected from the rest of the series, like she had a plan for this book, but ended up deleting what she had. I felt very much like she just pieced together scenes from the previous books, but in Ren's POV, and whatever she could to make her deadline. Half of this book is just the other books in Ren's POV. I wish she would have taken the time to give these characters the plot they deserve. I don't care. I'm not excited for the next book. I love the Sinners Anonymous series, but this book is not it. So we've seen this before, where a self-published author sets themselves a deadline and then continuously doesn't meet it, frustrating their fan base, when they could have just set themselves a more reasonable deadline and, if it happens earlier, amazing. Particularly as indie authors are responsible for their own PR and marketing. Like, is this really the kind of reputation they want to make for themselves? So aside from the release date stuff, and without getting too deep into it, a lot of people were not so happy with the quality of the story. They said it's basically, a rewrite of earlier books from the perspectives of 2 minor characters in those books, and both of those characters were actually way more interesting in the other books. And as that poster said, it's a lot shorter than the others, which makes it curious that this reportedly reads like a part 1 of the story. And after 3 years of waiting for this book, fans like they weren't even reading a complete story. Here's someone on Threads that says, Sam Sketcher needs to pay her for her crimes. The next book better be releasing next month, because please, don't get me wrong, I loved Sinners Atone, but girl. And someone replied to that. She said it won't be like Sinners Consumed. The next book came out 2 months after. She's already asked for us to stop asking. And the original poster says, yeah, she also said that Sinners Atone was coming out 3 times for 3 years. So yeah, people are skeptical and will continue to be. So hey, at least that person actually liked the book that was released so far. So based on this, you can see why Sam was already on thin ice with some fans. And then she released an advent calendar. Let's see how it was advertised. I'll read you the caption in just a few minutes. So it says, Sommiss Advent Calendar, 19th of November, 2025, early access, 6 p.m., general sale, 7 p.m. Then she posts a picture of the front of the Advent calendar. Looks adorable. And then on the last photo in this little slideshow thing is what the back of it looks like, which I don't really feel like is relevant for me to read to you. But, you know, it's just talking about like how cute it is and all of that. So I know almost nothing about these books except that they are mafia romance, but super cute packaging. It costs $76 US, around 55 pounds. And for US customers and EU customers, they have to, you know, pay shipping and duty costs. And with all of that included, it came out to like over $100 US, which, you know, it's not me blaming her for that part, but like, just so you can kind of understand the amount of money that was spent on this, you know. So here is the link on her website, which does say the same thing as the Instagram caption. Sommiss Advent Calendar. 'Tis the season for Sommiss. This year we're going bigger and better with the Sommiss 2025 Advent Calendar. The artwork is done by the amazing Summer Grove / Autumn Woods, inside and outside, and behind each of the 12 doors you'll find special gifts from all of these Sinners couples. We're not talking generic stickers and bookmarks, but gifts you can wear, play, build, and read. There's short stories, signed merch, and amazing prizes to be won. AirPods, anyone? So much love has been poured into these. It's truly been the ultimate passion project for me. Each gift is customized and hand-packed by me and my team in my little office, so they're super limited. Sorry. Important. We'll ship at the start of December, so your advent calendar should arrive in time to enjoy all 12 days of Sommiss. While every effort has been made to package these advent calendars securely, we cannot guarantee their handling once in transit. Please note that international shipping may result in occasional damage. No refunds. So that sounds super cool and a good value for $76 if you're into this. And, you know, if this is her ultimate passion project, how amazing to get to experience that from one of your favorite authors. I'm sure I don't need to tell you how this went once boxes were delivered. So I'm going to play this TikTok all the way through, and then we will go back and break it down. Definitely leaves a lot to be desired. You know, everything looks Pretty cheap and uninspired, except, of course, the packaging, which is beautifully designed and printed. Feels like she really spent the money on the wrong thing, but hey, you know, the outside is what sold it to people, so I guess it worked as far as making money goes. So let's watch that TikTok again, but I'm gonna pause it throughout. I did quite a bit of research to see what this would actually cost, so let's get to it. Alright, so we've got some dice. Nothing really special here, but they are dice, and I assume related to the book. I think there's like gambling and stuff. So on AliExpress, you can get 10 of these bad boys for 99 cents, but I am going to be as fair as possible with this whole thing and use the non-welcome deal price, which is $5.89. So the advent calendar has 5 die. I can never get that right, but anyways, there's 5 of them. So one order of these will cover 2 boxes. So for one box, we have spent $2.95 so far. So here we have a little pink charm, which I can't tell if it's a keychain or meant to be like a charm on a bracelet, but it has a W for the character name Ren. I'm not sure what someone would practically do with this unless their name also started with a W. On Temu, a 2-pack of these is $1.58, and this one has both a white and a pink version, so I'm trying to be as fair as I can. So let's say she paid for the 2-pack, but only ever sent out the pink ones, making each one $1.58 each. That leaves us at $4.53 so far for the calendar. So for this one, I had to do some digging. So this little baggie consists of a few things. Another video I saw was a little more thorough with this and opened the bag to show what's inside. So now we're gonna go over there, watch this unboxing on a different video of just that little piece. So first she shows this little lip balm. This is $12.76 for 36 pieces, but as we see, it's an assorted pack. So let's pretend that she really only used the pink one from each pack, meaning this is actually $12.76 for 6 pieces, bringing each one to $2.13, taking our total to $6.65. Next, she shows a sparkly pink nail file, which actually came in a set with the cuticle pusher and the pink heart sponge. So despite it saying 30 pieces in a pack, it's really 10 sets because everyone is getting the file, cuticle pusher, and sponge. So $4.75 divided by 10 is 47 cents. We are up to $7.12. Next up, we have a pink satin scrunchie. On Temu, these run for $2.99 for 12, or about 25 cents each. Our total is now $7.37. This little pink heart is actually part of the nail set we just saw. This is a face towel in a little mint-looking package. I couldn't find these exact ones in the same packaging, but I think I got pretty close. These are $5.81 for a pack of 100, which comes out to about 6 cents each, bringing the total to $7.18. Then we have a lone sparkly Band-Aid, which made me lose it, and I could not tell you why. Probably my colorful appearance is relaxing my mood, but it's just so dumb and cheap, like a single Band-Aid. I can't. But these are from AliExpress, not Temu. But I will give it the same treatment I did with the dice and not use my special welcome deal price. So 50 Band-Aids comes to $8.26, making each one worth 17 cents. We are now at $7.35. And then we have the cuticle pusher, which we already included. All right, back to the regular video now that we've done that side quest. So on day 4, we have a little camo pouch. I wish I could tell you what this is for, but I really don't know. And this one actually gets a little spendy at $3.28 each. Brings us to a total of $10.63. Now this does have a little custom 16-piece puzzle inside. I could not for the life of me find like a 4x4 custom jigsaw puzzle to use as a pricing guide. This is the closest I could find, but it's probably in the general area of how much those were. So we'll add $2.64 to our previous total for an updated total of $13.27. Now these are some socks with some horrible vinyl on them of the characters' names. I really want to know who like signed off on this, and I know it's a small company, but I have no words for this. And I don't know how much the Cricut machine these were made on cost, but we're just gonna use a pair of basic ass white dress socks. Since there was no way I was gonna find these exact socks, I just took a mid-priced pack from Temu, which comes to 82 cents per pair. I also was clueless as to how much vinyl was needed for something like this, and Google was honestly not helpful at all. So I just went with 1 sheet per sock, and if I'm way off on that, shut up. This variety pack from the Cricut store is $50 for a 100 pack, so each piece is 50 cents. So for both the socks themselves and the vinyl required, the calendar for this day costs $1.82. I'm gonna stop updating the total now so you can be surprised at the end. So this is a little scratch off card. I'm going to throw in some extra like money at the end for all of these like little cards and bags, don't worry. But I did find these like little scratch off stickers, which are $2.44 for 90 on Temu, which is about 3 cents each. The scratch off is where you could allegedly win prizes like AirPods, but everyone I've seen post about this has actually just gotten a coupon for 10% off. We will get more into that in a little bit. So here is a little ornament, which by the way, doesn't even have like a hook or anything to actually put it on your tree with. The sticker with customization is also not even on there straight, but for 50 of these little ornaments without the sticker, it costs $5.86, making the cost for one 12 cents. Okay, so this actually took me a little while to figure out what it was. And so I went back to that other reel that I took that bit from, and she came through. So it's like a little tiny notebook pad ring thing, and the front like cover says, "Sinners Anonymous, the hotline is busy, write your sins down instead." And the first page in it has the author's signature, but the rest of it is empty. I'm not entirely sure what an adult does with this, but fine. I have absolutely no clue how to even begin pricing this, so I'm gonna say it's $1 and call it a day. So at first glance, I thought these were stickers, but they're actually custom temporary tattoos. Again, what does an adult do with temporary tattoos? You know, they can definitely be fun in like the right setting, a birthday party or like an event, but I feel like I can confidently say that I have not seen an adult ever just like bouncing around town with a temporary tattoo. But that's neither here nor there, to each his own. So as these are custom, I don't know what company made them or anything, but I did my best. So on this website, Swag Print, using the smallest and therefore most expensive sized bulk order, each tattoo is 32 cents. And each calendar has 3 tattoos, so for simplicity's sake, we're just gonna round up to $1 for 3 tattoos. This is another one that kind of cracked me up. It's like an off-brand Lego duck. And I don't know, this might be part of the story that I just don't know because I haven't read the books, but it doesn't matter because what the hell is this? At least this provides like an hour or so of entertainment. Given how little of this is actually shown in the video, I was on an adrenaline high after I found the exact thing by reading like a tiny corner of the instructions in their brief moment on the screen. Anyways, Alibaba has these for 78 cents each. On the 11th day of Christmas, we have a tiny shot glass, I guess, in the shape of a beer stein. Temu charges $10.78 for 12 of these, making one cost 90 cents. And the grand finale of it all, a QR code for a short story that actually doesn't take you anywhere. Obviously it's covered, so I haven't checked it for myself, but that's what people have been saying, that it just doesn't lead you anywhere. So the total of all these items, plus I'm adding in an extra $5 for the cardstock, the organza baggies, stickers to personalize, all of that, brings us to a grand total of $23.92. So even if the packaging itself was $15, that still leaves half the price of the thing for profit. And while it was pretty hard to find something close to the exact packaging, even if we take the most expensive one with the smallest minimum order, they are $7.99 each. So let's call it $32 per box. That brings the profits to $44 per box. She could be giving half of that to the artist and still be banking $22 a box. I really hope there were at least a few of you who appreciated all of that price comparison in math I just did, because I am not a math lady and the amount of like small numbers that I still had to use a calculator for is embarrassing. So now that we know what the value of the calendar is less than half of what people paid for it, let's see how reactions were. Some Sketcher Advent Calendar, 55 pounds plus expectations versus reality. This isn't a rant, and I'm not posting this to attack anyone. I'm sharing my experience because as book lovers and readers, we also need to look out for each other. With merch, blind boxes, and advent calendars becoming more common in the romance community, I think it's important to talk honestly about value, transparency, and expectations. I bought the Some Sketcher Advent Calendar. Genuinely excited. I love supporting authors I read, and I don't take spending money on book-related items lightly. That's exactly why I'm writing this. Awareness matters. The Advent Calendar was sold for 55 pounds, but for most international buyers, including me, once shipping was added, the total easily exceeded 100 pounds, not including customs duties, VAT, or handling fees. This was marketed as a premium, hand-packed Advent Calendar and not generic merch. The advertising promised a 12-day Advent Calendar, custom hand-packed gifts, not generic stickers or bookmarks. Gifts you can wear, play, build, and read. Short stories. Signed merch, high-value prizes, AirPods were explicitly mentioned. Artwork, a passion project made with care and love. Based on that, expectations were understandably high, and hundreds of them sold out within minutes. Well, it's here, and boy, is it disappointing. Here is what actually came in the Advent Calendar. Tiny pieces of paper turned into a keyring by punching a hole through them, with some signature on one page. White cheap ankle socks with DIY Cricut foil text saying Gabe and Ren that cannot be washed without ruining the foil. A 2-inch by 3-inch camo pouch with no clear relevance to the characters or books. A beauty kit consisting of a generic nail file, a single unbranded Band-Aid, and an off-label Chinese Vaseline and face wipe. Multiple advent windows containing pieces of paper with QR codes that did not work. One window used for a giveaway, meaning that day was effectively empty for most buyers. A tiny plastic charm with the letter W, for Ren, but who on earth is going to walk around with a W hanging with no context? A Cricut acrylic circle saying Merry Somnus, which assumes Christmas celebration and the presence of a tree, which a lot of people don't. That one, I feel like advent calendars are from, like, they originate, at least as far as I know, from, like, Christmas itself, so I feel like that one's, it doesn't matter. A tiny off-brand Lego-style bag to build a bird. Overall, many of the items felt mass-produced, low-cost, and closer to filler than the premium curated experience that was advertised. For comparison, other authors have done advent calendars exceptionally well at similar or higher price points. Kylie Ken's advent calendar included Vancouver Nights scarves, a coffee table book, and custom acrylic signs designed to be displayed year-round, not just during Christmas. I did take a look at that one just to kind of like see. It was, I think, nearly 400 USD, but it does seem like it had quite a bit in it. So definitely something you'd like, would be an investment gift for yourself or whatever, but seemingly much nicer than this. T.L. Smith's Advent offerings included actual special edition books and thoughtfully designed fandom-relevant swag tied directly to her work. Those felt intentional. This did not. What makes this more frustrating is the response to criticism. When people online shared honest disappointment, the response was framed as, "This is the author's safe space. Be mindful," or that feedback was being rude. But this is not just a creative space. It's a commercial transaction. Customers are allowed to critique products they paid significant money for, especially when the marketing was vague and the contents were hidden behind blind boxes while promising a lot. With the current rise in living costs globally, spending money is not easy for many readers. People are budgeting carefully and choosing where to spend. Personally, for me, it isn't a huge amount, but the fact is that money doesn't grow on trees. If authors are monetizing their fandoms through premium merch, blind boxes, or advent calendars, there needs to be real effort, care, and value behind what is being sold. Transparency and quality matter, especially when fans are being asked to spend over £100 without knowing what they will receive. Readers are not entitled to anything, yes, but we are paying customers in this situation, and when a £55 product becomes a £100 plus purchase for many of us, we have every right to expect more than low-effort filler and broken QR codes. I really hope that authors do better, because this isn't it. I'll read some of the comments in a second, but she edited the post after talking to so many people who feel the exact same way. I highly encourage anyone who ordered the calendar to email SOM's team at whatever, so that we can have our voice heard. If enough of us get the message across, we might get some corrective action. This is not okay. Edit 2. Two of the users have both gotten this generic response. I can only apologize for the disappointment caused by the advent. Within each box, whilst there are some generic elements such as the dice or the camouflage bag, these are paired with creative/personalized items such as Summer Grove exclusive artwork, puzzles, and Psalm signed notebooks. There are also Advent exclusive stories written by Psalm which haven't been uploaded yet to ensure they cannot be accessed prior to the day they correspond to. We are an incredibly small team, and everything has been created and packaged in office by myself and Psalm. Apologies again for your disappointment. We are taking all the feedback on board. I hope you enjoyed the Christmas special and have an amazing holiday season. Please, 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 if you're part of this mess, push for a refund, state the law in the UK, and send the message that we will not be scammed out of our hard-earned money. They are clearly not interested in rectifying any situation, and it's clear that Psalm is more than happy to take advantage of us at this point. It's just so shameless. Obviously, I'll show you some of the comments too, just a little sampling. I am honestly fuming. I didn't have high expectations, but when I saw the unboxings yesterday, my jaw dropped. A complete and utter scam. This won't be like other calendars with generic stickers and bookmarks, yet the generic stickers were very much there. I'm lucky enough that mine hasn't arrived yet. It's due to arrive today, but I'm going to refuse the delivery and email Psalm stating so, requesting a refund. She needs to issue a public apology to everyone. And the OP says, what's crazy is that instead of stickers, they were tattoos. What on earth can a fully grown adult person do with temporary tattoos? That's what I'm saying. At least I can stick a sticker on the back of my Kindle and call it a day. I'm really tempted to do the same as you, but I'm so worried that she's going to keep the box and not refund anything. At this point, I don't really trust her. Another thread starts, I think you're giving the author too much grace. Based on what you shared, I'd say you can safely make this a rant. I would certainly be ranting. OP, I'm boiling inside. I never thought I'd get scammed like this. The lack of accountability is crazy. Someone says, that sounds rubbish. I've never heard of an author doing an advent calendar, and it's not something I've personally any interest in, but I have seen a number of other non-book related advent calendars, which are way overpriced for what you get. It seems like this is the latest scam format and probably best avoided. That said, I wouldn't have an issue with an advent calendar containing a Christmas tree ornament. There you go. Yes, it's assuming you celebrate Christmas, but an advent calendar is a Christmas activity, so it seems like a reasonable assumption, and you could hang it somewhere other than a tree. That's what I was trying to say before. Another thread starts, I think the worst part was when I went onto Facebook to see what the general opinion was, and under a thread of people discussing how the calendar was full of Temu items and they were disappointed and no longer wanted it, Som's PA commented to say the Facebook group is Som's safe space and to be mindful of what's said. While I completely understand that the group is a safe space for Som to interact with her supporters, I think it's justified that people are going to discuss how disappointed they are, and we shouldn't be made to feel bad about that. £55 for items people have quite literally found on Temu is baffling. I bought one because of the way it was advertised. It literally said it wouldn't be generic and that there would be short stories, signed merch, and customized gifts. I feel like we didn't get that, and it's super disappointing. The packaging and the artwork is gorgeous, but Sinners is my favorite book series, and I'm upset that the advent calendar I've been so excited for and spent a lot on turned out to be a letdown. And another commenter, I have noticed some of the comments highlighting anything disappointing are being removed. It's likely her PA. I get trying to protect Som's feelings, but in this case, she really needs to address this rather than sweeping it away. The only people I've seen who haven't been disappointed are the people who are actually opening it day by day instead of all at once. I haven't seen anything nasty or hate towards Som, which is good. She doesn't deserve hate or anything, but she does need to be held accountable, like you say. That's what I've noticed too. People opening day by day are like, "Aw, cute," but when it's all in front of you and you think £55 minimum for the utter rubbish that was in it, I very highly doubt anyone will be over the moon with the contents. I'm certainly not. And again, someone says nobody's being nasty towards her, which is why I think her PA needs to stop deleting things so they can actually see that the backlash is for the calendar, not for Som. £55 this close to Christmas was a lot, and a lot of people only spent that under the promise of bonus short stories, signed content, and personalized gifts. Not Temu stuff that would have cost us all like £15 if we bought it on our own. Actually, probably less. I didn't do the calculation from US dollars to pounds, but I will, and I'll put it right here. The camo pouch with the puzzle is where I really started to get annoyed. No one was being rude when that initial comment from her PA went up either. At that point, I think it was just 4 comments saying that things were from Temu. Apparently, it was an anti-safe space to call it what it is. Imagine being so triggered by a simple, "Why is everything from Temu?" So this is one of those situations like Britt Andrews or Isla Olsen where your readers stop being just your readers and start being your customers as soon as money changes hands. And customers are allowed to express their dissatisfaction at a product they purchased. Yes, there's always a risk when spending money on something that's a surprise. But the seller should not be misleading the buyer by saying it will contain things that aren't generic, because they slapped a sticker on it, high value prizes, like AirPods, but probably you'll get a coupon, signed merch, a scrap of paper, and artwork. The box itself, but is someone really going to keep that? However you want to look at it, this is not worth the price paid, and I wonder if it's worth it to some to lose the trust of her fans over this. Like, if you're going to take people's money and run, at least get $100,000 first, like Britt Andrews. That is a joke. She's a horrible person. Don't do anything she does. So I was able to get some screenshots from the Facebook group and what was said in regards to the box by Som and her people. So this was posted to kind of, express excitement. People could talk about it. People could post spoilers. Ho, ho, ho. As promised, here is the spoiler zone for the calendar, or just the general zone. It's a zone. So as and when your calendars arrive, if you want to share pictures, please post them on this thread rather than submitting them to the group. Happy Sommas, and there is a graphic. So I've kind of just, picked a selection of comments that, show you an example. So emailed the admin email and got this response, and it says, "Merry Sommas, thank you for reaching out to us. Som and her team are currently on Christmas leave and have limited access to emails until the new year. We will get back to you as soon as possible, wishing you the best holiday season." And someone says, "Yeah, I think we need to wait until they come back to then see, because I'm pretty sure even if you went to your bank now, they will most likely say to wait and see what Som's team says first." What was the email? And then she gives it. I hear people's disappointments, but I think it's worth noting that it wasn't just stuff from Temu. The stuff was customized, which took manpower and design hours, and the box itself must have been a lot of design hours and custom production, which all costs money. Little things, especially customized, still add up. But which bits were really customized? The puzzle and a couple of cards inside? Yes, the box was nice. The art on it is stunning. but I would have rather had a simple box with stuff that was actually relevant to the characters and stories. Hell, I'd rather have had stickers and bookmarks. To be honest, at least we could use them. Can you really call a cheap sticker slapped on a notepad or a tiny mug customize? Someone else says, sure, the box and the art was absolutely gorgeous, but I didn't pay over £55 for a nice looking box. I truly appreciate that the team hand assembled all of these boxes, and I respect the time they put in. But it was just stuff from Temu. Even just something as simple as signed art cards would have been far better. For the price the calendar cost, you'd expect a lot more than items that add up to max £15 on Temu. I adore Som and her work, and I am appreciative of the time that went into assembling the calendars individually, but I wish more thought and care had gone into the contents. That's why people are disappointed. Someone else said, so I just received my calendar and I opened it. 2 of my days were empty. I didn't have anything in day 2 or day 6. I searched the whole box just in case it fell into a different day, but I couldn't find anything. So hey, at least they replied that they would work on that. So yeah, as we can see, this post has had the comments turned off, as well as allegedly certain comments have been deleted. I can't confirm that 100%. Another post was made in this same group by a reader, and this group has post approvals on. So it's notable that this one got approved, and yet I've been told that others looking for answers on like remedies to the situation are not being approved. I understand that this following post was not from Som herself or anyone on her team, but they're the ones deciding what is allowed to be posted. So this person says, I just want to pop on as a reader. I completely understand everyone's frustration and disappointment with the advent calendars, but can we please remember that this is a safe space for Som and her team to interact with readers? Your concerns and frustrations are completely valid, but this isn't the place for those posts. Use Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Reddit, etc. all you want. Even email Som's team, but posting about it in her group when this is supposed to be a positive space isn't the right way. I'm sure questions will be answered soon, as this is a very busy period for everyone. This isn't a post to invalidate your concerns, but to instead tell you to be more mindful about where they're directed. Thank you. The only place people are talking about the Advent calendar is in the Advent calendar zone. If she doesn't want to read it, she doesn't have to open the comments. Even if this is her safe space, she should be aware that people are going to be upset with the items after paying $120 plus. She might be sad, but that isn't our fault. Try to fix it / grow from the experience. That's it. The author says, I agree that accountability needs to be taken, and Som has probably lost the trust of a lot of her readers, but a majority of the comments I've seen on the spoiler post have been negative and are still on Som's reader group. There's clearly a Reddit page dedicated to the matter, and her PA has posted email addresses where you can contact her team and direct concerns. It's all negative because that's all people can say about it. The thread was left open for 3 days. If she really didn't want to see it, then she would have took it off, but she did already. Positive or negative feedback is still feedback that you have to read regardless, even if this is your safe space or not. And with a negative feedback, no one is talking bad about her personally. People are talking bad about the product. If she takes it that way, then she needs to do some more rebuilding within herself. So wait, and then this is directed to the PA who made the previous posts about like the zone. You're approving posts where people are actively hating on paying customers who are disappointed because they got Temu trash in their calendars, but you're turning off the comments on the one and only post where people can talk, express their views, connect? What kind of double standard is this? And then the author of this post, nobody is actively hating on paying customers. As a paying customer myself, who is also frustrated at the matter, I know where else to direct my concerns, instead of doing it in a Facebook group that's supposed to be positive between authors and their readers. As for connecting with other people on the matter, there's a Reddit group where people have been very active at voicing their concerns away from Som's reader group. Same person, the calendar spoiler post was for discussing what's in the box. If it was Temu trash, then that's exactly what was discussed. You know exactly what you were doing when you created this post. We weren't born yesterday. And yes, a Reddit post exists because the thing that everyone predicted did happen. Paying customers were censored, so that became the secondary place to discuss this. It's due to this exact censorship issue that the Reddit post is so active. I'm not going to speak on that, but, you know, it's not censorship, but it is a shame that you would just kind of silence your critics when they've paid you money for something. Conveniently, the team are out of office now and not around to deal with our email concerns. Exactly, I don't get it. Safe zones are only for authors who don't scam their paying fans out of money by offering them Temu trash, then hiding until it blows over in 2 weeks. Sorry, not sorry, but being a yes man is so embarrassing, honestly. And so is turning off comments, but posts because you can dish it out but can't handle it back. There's a difference between being a yes man and understanding what platforms to use to direct my concerns on the matter. Okay. The whole thing, goes on for a while, but you get the point. People are really disappointed and unhappy with their purchase. So I can't see the email that was sent, but this is, I've been told, is a response from them after someone requested a refund. Also very weird because it says December 17th, 2025, and I did a moment, had a second, but this person is already in tomorrow at the time I'm recording this. So they replied, "Hello, the item you received is the item sold on the website. Please see attached photo of the calendar and its description. The sale was for an advent calendar with mystery products behind each door and no claimed value was listed. The images and product descriptions are all correct." Then she links it. "Nothing has been missold and the customer has not been misled. Regards." Now to me, this is a tough one. While whoever is on Psalm's team or Psalm herself is correct in a way, there's no way to read the description and not feel misled. Let's take another look. The artwork is done by the amazing Summer Grove / Autumn Woods author inside and outside, and behind each of the 12 doors you'll find special gifts from all of the Sinners couples. We're not talking generic stickers and bookmarks, but gifts you can wear, play, build, and read. There's short stories, signed merch, and amazing prizes to be won. AirPods, anyone? So much love has been poured into these. It's truly been the ultimate passion project for me. Each gift is customized and hand-packed by me and my team in my little office. So they're super limited, sorry. So while I suppose technically they got what they paid for, this is just a really bad look. So a subscriber who purchased the calendar showed me what she had sent on the contact form to kind of talk about this. "Hi there. I'm writing to you regarding order number, whatever. I would like to request a refund for my advent calendar as your product breaches the UK Consumer Rights Act of 2015. The advent calendar was falsely marketed and what I received was not as described nor of satisfactory quality. You claimed verbatim on the 16th of November on Instagram, author Psalm Sketcher, that in the regards to the items included, we're not talking generic stickers and bookmarks. There's signed merch and amazing prizes to be won. Each gift is customized and hand-packed by me. And so much love has been poured into these, it's truly been the ultimate passion project for me. In response to several other customer complaints, you admit that, whilst there are some generic elements, such as the dice or the camouflage bag, this is blatant proof that items included in your product are not as described. Beforehand, we were not told precisely what would be included. However, you very much stated that it wouldn't be generic. Furthermore, in regards to signed merch, there was no satisfactory merchandise to be found. What, in your opinion, classifies as signed merch was in fact a product that looks suspiciously close to travel journal set, compact portable notebooks for writing and drawing, ideal for travelers, parties, and daily planning, matte paper blank pages on Temu, with only the first page signed. Slapping a plastic sticker onto that and every other product in this calendar does not make it automatically quality as merchandise, let alone satisfactory quality. The amazing prizes include a 10% discount at the Divine Collection, which is only worth £2.70 when looking at the prices of your £27 Sinners Anonymous collection, and even less on cheaper products offered on the website. This is not satisfactory or of much value, considering that the Advent calendar has been purchased by consumers for £55 before shipping. Not only that, but the Divine Collection website already offers a 10% discount on their website, so your discount coupon is of little value. Finally, as with the notebook, the majority of other products included in this advent calendar are all available on sites such as Temu and Alibaba, where they can be bulk bought for mere pennies per unit. They do not equate to nearly the same cost as what we had paid for our advent calendar, nor are they durable. For example, the bulk bought socks have printed stickers stuck onto them, which can easily peel off, and I would not be able to be used after one run in the washing machine. I await your response with a return label to ship the calendar back to you. If I don't receive a personalized and direct response, then I will begin the process of a chargeback with my bank shortly. And this is how either Psalm or someone from her team replied. "Hi, thank you for your email. and we're sorry you feel disappointed with the calendar. Everything stated in the calendar listing is what was delivered in the calendar. If the calendar remains unopened, then as a goodwill gesture, we can provide you with a return address for you to send it back at your cost. Upon return and inspection, we will then be able to process your refund for the calendar within 14 days. We'll be taking all feedback on board for future endeavors. Really? Additionally, as it was kind of mentioned and alluded to, that day 6 scratch-off ticket where you could allegedly win AirPods, yeah. I've seen only people saying that they won a 10% off coupon to that Divine Collective online shop, a 10% off coupon. And yes, it already offers 10% off just signing up for text. And moreover, these are not like expensive items, so a 10% off coupon, as she said, in US dollars is going to save you $3.50, which is not even really a gift if you weren't planning on shopping there anyways. I don't know. To wrap this up, I don't know why someone would have this beautiful packaging commissioned only to fill it with things that will most likely go directly into the trash. But worst of all, reader trust is gone from the calendar alone, and then you add on this response to those same readers' feedback, and I don't know if she will be able to come back from this. Probably the single biggest way that indie authors get their books out there is through word of mouth, which has only gotten even more important with Book Talk, Bookstagram, BookTube communities. And if people stop recommending her books because of this type of shady practice, it's going to be a lot more difficult for her to find new readers now that she's pissed off her current fan base. In addition to her most recent book being a disappointment for a lot of them. So my message to some is that I hope it was worth it. I don't know how many of these were sold, but my guess is that she couldn't have made more than like low to mid 4 figures on these. And in doing this, she's likely lost a lot of money she could have made in the future. And if she generally did think this was a good value and she truly did put her whole art into this, bless her. So now for a business with great products that are both great quality and a great price, let me introduce you to Salt Pixie Studio. The owner makes hand-woven and sewn bags, handmade cowls, wraps, and cute face masks, working out of her studio in North Carolina to create beautiful hand-woven pieces of useful art. Each piece starts as single threads, and she sometimes even spins the yarn herself. Her hand-woven fabrics are made on an 8-shaft floor loom, and once she's done weaving, she matches with quilters' cottons and creates bags, from the tiny mini zip pouches up to bags for knitting projects. As a disabled queer woman, being able to work from her home is ideal, and one look at our website is all it takes to see how much passion goes into every single piece. Truly a passion project. So if you still need holiday gifts or just want to treat yourself to something nice, I will put links to both the Salt Pixie website as well as their social media. This is such a great time of year to show support for small businesses, and even just a follow or share can go a long way in helping them find their customers. As this whole situation really just started kind of happening within the last few days, I will certainly update anything that I find out past what we already know. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, I would love it if you would. I do have my Bindery page if you're interested in supporting me over there, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!